So today's Japanese slang term is nani o shiten no, or I suppose nani o shiten no with a exaggerated extended o at the end. Now, this is just basically a kanji respelling of nani shiten no, or what are you doing? That's it. See you next. Now, so the basics of this term is very simple. As I mentioned, it's a kanji respelling, and these kind of kanji respellings, playful kanji respellings, are something that exists throughout the entire history of the Japanese internet, if not the history of Japan. Famous examples from the earlier days of the Japanese internet are writing the word saba, or a server, as saba, which is of course a fish, or more recently using aka, which means grime or dirt, as a shortening of accounto. Going back though, there are famous examples like yakuza, chimpira, basically gangsters, young ruffians, writing yoroshiku in kanji like this. And indeed, if you study the history of the Japanese writing system, one thing that is very clear is that from basically the minute Japanese people started writing, they started playing with kanji. So the basic phenomenon is nothing new. But why are people writing nani shiten no, or what are you doing, with this, which literally translates as what? The four heavenly kings of Buddhism. Well, this term comes from the Japanese YouTuber / live streamer Hikakin. Now, if you're not familiar with Hikakin, Hikakin is an extremely popular Japanese internet personality. I'm talking 18 million subscribers on YouTube popular, with his average video easily getting between 1 to 5 million views as of 2024. In 2014, Hikakin was playing the gacha game Monster Strike, and while opening one of his loot boxes, he got 10 items, but they were all kind of uninspiring and uninteresting, causing him to exclaim, "Nani shiten no?" And his pronunciation was just a bit interesting. I honestly can't see exactly where, but it was enough for the internet to turn this entire interaction into a kind of meme. Here's the original video.
10個にしちゃ多く見えた。あ、てってるてってってって来いよ。てってる。おい、何をしてんの？何をしてんの？マジ？
So while again that nani shiten no is not particularly interesting to me, I'm not a young Japanese person. It was extremely interesting to young Japanese people, so much that they decided to write it in kanji and turn it into a gigantic meme phrase. Despite that this happened over a decade ago, it's still really popular too. For instance, in this poll of 1,215 elementary school students, it was ranked number 6 on their most popular phrases. It's had a lot of longevity, and this is of course linked to just how popular its creator is. Indeed, Hikakin's interesting turns of phrases or unique statements are so numerous that there's even something called the Hikamani Goroku, or the Analects of Hikakin Mania, which collect all the sort of phrasings that are linked to this YouTuber. So at the end of the day, writing nani shiten no, which again just means what are you doing, in this way is just a way of showing that you are very online, or a fan of Hikakin, or someone who really just likes this trend. And indeed, the trend is popular enough that you can alter it a bit. There are other productive uses. If you change it to 1 instead of 4, you get nani o itten no, or what are you saying, which you can see used here to someone asks the official McDonald's Twitter account why they're saying, "I'm gonna take off my french fries," or someone here who is understandably just confused about the Holman transfer orbit. Likewise, you can change it to the 8 heavenly kings if you want to say nani o yatten no instead of nani o shiten no, which is the same thing, but this person I guess prefers to use 8. To ask what this other person is doing at the train station. Unfortunately, from what I can tell, the other numbers aren't really productive. For instance, I immediately wanted to see if 9, or nani o kutten no, was used for what are you eating, because I think that would be really fun. And the answer is no, not really at all. There are a few posts like this one here which imagine terms for every single number, but unfortunately, while I can see why things like nani ni niten no, or why does it resemble that, or perhaps nani natten no for 7, or what is marking or tweeting or making an animal sound, don't see a lot of use in the wild. Nani o kutten no also is not really used, despite that, of course, it is something that people do ask. So all in all, I'm kind of angry about this whole thing and disappointed with the Japanese netto meme. 一体何してんの?